We wanted to create a really safe environment where women could feel comfortable being like, you know what, I don't know the answer to this question and I'd like to have a conversation, and it's totally okay.
Don't be afraid that no one's ever gonna listen, right? When we started out, it was always this feeling of like, who's ever gonna wanna listen to us? Right?
Why would you think
who's
that?
ever gonna I mean, you just think about the numbers of podcasts you can subscribe to and all the big names, celebrities and actors and even philosophers who now have podcasts. Why would they want to hear us? And so I think a part of me would go back and say, be confident, right? This is going to be something really, really great, right? And lean into it in a really big way from the beginning. And I think I would tell myself that then, like, think about this in a really big way, even from day one.
And it's become something way bigger than I think either of us expected in a fantastic and really exciting way. We went from like 35 subscribers on YouTube when we started this to over 1,600. Hello, welcome back.
Hello. So nice to be with you.
Nice to see you in person. Amazing, because this never happens. Welcome back, everybody, to Living Richly with Curo, episode 100.
Woo-hoo!
Yay! My name is Ann McCabe. I am the CEO and a partner here at Curo Private Wealth, and I'm joined, as always, by my lovely partner, Atricia.
Hi, I'm Atricia Roberts, COO and partner at Curo, and today is a big one.
It is. We are so excited to celebrate our 100th episode, and we wanted to do something different, something special. So today we are so excited to have the lovely Elsa with us.
Yay, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be a part of your 100th episode.
I know. It's a huge deal. We're so honored to have you here.
Thank you.
When we decided that we wanted somebody to like flip the script and ask us the questions, we immediately thought of you. You just bring such great energy and such light and fun. And so we're really excited to have you here and couldn't be more grateful for your time and your willingness to
because I'm a big fan of your podcast. So this is really nice for me to be here too.
Well, thank you. We're mutual fans.
Yes, for sure.
All right. So before we turn it over to you, I do want to do a brief introduction so everybody knows how amazing you are. Elsa Medhin is an award-winning TV host, seasoned marketing professional, and realtor with Northgate Realty. She doesn't sleep very much. And she serves clients across the Washington, D.C. area. She's known to her audiences as Elsa M., and she has spent more than 2 decades in media, hosting a long-running TV show that airs daily, highlighting the best of Maryland. Her honors include an Edward R. Murrow Award, 4 Emmy nominations, and amazing, and the distinction of being the first Ethiopian American TV reporter and anchor in the United States, which is a huge honor. Elsa brings her storytelling experience and warmth to this 100th episode as we turn the tables and she interviews me and Atricia.
Yes. Thank you so much for that warm intro. That was really sweet.
Yeah.
I am so excited to be here. I've been following your podcast and learning a lot. You guys are helping me live richly, so I appreciate that. And now that the tables have turned, well, there's no table here, but the chairs have turned. Little mini table. The chairs have turned. I want to ask you how you started, because I always wanted to know that. How did this all begin? What is your origin story?
Yeah, so we realized, especially once we decided as a firm who we wanted to serve.
Yes.
And we really started focusing a lot of our planning and conversation around women going through very difficult life transitions. We realized that we were having a lot of the same conversations again and again, right? Giving the same sorts of advice, answering the same sorts of questions. And then we realized more women than just the women we directly serve on a day-to-day basis needed to hear this. Right? They needed this information. They needed this education. And so the podcast felt like a really good way to reach those women. Now, we didn't just half bake it, right? We actually did a survey of our women clients who we love working with, who we think benefit the most from our planning, and ask them how they consume information. And so many of them come back and say, I listen to podcasts on the way to work.
There you
go. On the treadmill, right? Waiting in the drop-off line at school, everybody's listening to podcasts. And we thought, what a wonderful way to get this information out en masse to the general public and not just to the women we work with on a day-to-day basis.
But you knew right away that you wanted to have these conversations with women and you wanted to come together to make sure that these conversations were being had and perpetuated. So why was that so important?
Well, I think it's important because I think there is a lot of shame and embarrassment sometimes around the conversation and the topic of money and women. And I think especially the women with whom we work who are high achievers, they're successful, they're used to being good at what they do, they're used to knowing the answers. Yeah. And so we wanted a space where it felt comfortable for these really smart, really successful women to say, you know what, I don't feel comfortable with the topic of money and I have questions.
Yes.
And I want to be able to, one, admit that, and two, have people hopefully like our firm who can answer questions in a way that really doesn't make women feel like they're dumb or like they should know the information. We have shared this term many times on the podcast, but our female clients don't want to be mansplained is the bottom line. And so we wanted to create a really safe environment where women could feel comfortable being like, you know what, I don't know the answer to this question and I'd like to have a conversation and it's totally okay.
It's so funny you say that because that's actually how I found you. When I met you, that was the conversation that I was having is that, yes, I'm a very high achieving person, but yet there are things that I did not know about how to maximize my investments, how to maximize my money and plan for the future, especially as a divorcee. Yeah. And so in these conversations, it just felt a lot more empowering just to be able to have the information. And so I'm sure 100 episodes in, you hear that a lot.
Yeah. And we also, we're good planners and investment managers.
Yes.
But we're also women who have been through our own transitions, right? Yes. We've experienced loss of parents and, ending of marriages. And we bring, I think, a certain sort of empathy to the conversation that allows women to be vulnerable.
Yes.
Ann and I are not shy. I probably have overshared on this podcast in a number of episodes. I'm always shocked when someone's like, oh yeah, how's your golf game going? I'm like, how did you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, because I was telling you I was taking lessons on the podcast, right? So it's been such an interesting experience being able to bring what we do every day in our work and sharing that in general to the public.
Yeah, you don't hear the words empathy and finances in the same sentence too often. So I love that. So what did you think this podcast was going to be like initially, and what did it evolve into?
So again, the idea behind the podcast initially was we wanted a place where we could share information that we know people have questions about. And so when we launched it, we thought, okay, we'll, have some interesting, hopefully some entertaining and educational content, and maybe a few hundred people will listen to it, and hopefully we'll reach the the listeners that we want to reach. And it's become something way bigger than I think either of us expected in a fantastic and really exciting way. We went from like 35 subscribers on YouTube when we started this to over 1,600. Wow. It's still not impressing my teenagers who are used to like millions. Yeah, they're used to like millions of followers, so we're still like not quite so impressive to them.
But even when you get it, they won't be impressed.
Exactly.
They'll move the needle.
Yeah,
that's how that
exactly. So it's been incredible, and I've also found that it's been a helpful educational tool for clients. So when we originally launched it, we wanted it to be a way for people who didn't know about Curo to find us.
Yes,
and now we find ourselves in meetings all the time if a client brings up a question about HSAs or about when to claim Social Security or any of the myriad topics that we've covered in the podcast.
Yes.
Instead of spending a lot of time during the meeting going into the details of an HSA, we say, okay, well, we have a podcast that we can share with you.
And it's supportive material.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which makes sense because you're on my commute with me. So when I'm driving from Bethesda to Baltimore for the show, I'm listening to you there. Or if I'm showing a home, I'm listening to you in the car. And so it is nice to be able to sort of bolster that education that you're giving your clients in real time with something they can take on the go.
Yeah. And it's also turned into a proactive contact from our clients as well. I've had clients reach out and said, oh, I listened to the podcast about generational wealth. I want to talk about how I speak to my kids about what to expect if something happens to us.
So they're initiating these conversations
because they
weren't
listened
before.
to the episode where they didn't think it pertained to them and they learned something new. And it was like, oh, let me reach out to my advisor and ask these questions.
I love that ripple effect. That's really nice that you're planting those seeds and that it has a lasting
That's been very
effect.
surprising. I don't know that I expected that to happen.
You lead me to my next question. What is the biggest surprise surprise that you've had in these 100 episodes?
I would say, so the thing about a podcast, especially when you start, is that sometimes you feel like you're just speaking into an echo chamber. You don't know who's listening, if anybody is out there listening. Yeah. And so I think one of the things that has been surprising is when you get to actually put the face with the listener. You know, you're looking at, all of these metrics, who's downloading and what region are they in. But when someone actually reaches out and you get to make a personal touch to someone who listened and was influenced or moved by something you said, that to me is always super heartwarming and surprising. Like, wow, I actually shared something with you that was so meaningful that it encouraged you to act, right? That to me is so incredibly powerful.
And it takes a certain level of vulnerability. I mean, you both have shared so much as a part of these 100 episodes, but to see that impact with your listeners and to know that, that sharing actually makes it relatable,
right? It
has to feel good for you both.
Yeah, I think that has been surprising to me, though, is how much we have shared, especially Atricia over here. No, I'm just kidding. But it's great.
I'm a heavy oversharer all the time.
But it's great. And I think it's what differentiates the podcast, right? Is we are talking about financial topics and we're trying to educate, but we're also really happy to share our own personal experiences. We oftentimes, of course, with full confidentiality, talk about actual client situations and how we're helping clients through or questions that clients are asking, goals they're working on. So what's been interesting to me is, I guess when I thought about this initially, I thought about it as just a way, like you would create a blog post where you're just sharing information. And we've really brought so much of our own personal experiences in, which I think is helpful. And I know a lot of our women clients in particular, they haven't ever met a firm that looks like our firm. And we're really, really proud about that. Not just that we're female leaders, but we have a lot of diversity on our team. And it's just not something that you typically see. We go to financial conferences all the time. We're often...
She's like, I don't see it. I'm at a conference and I don't see it.
No, I always joke that the line in the bathroom at a financial advisor conference, the men's line is always longer, which...
It's the only place in the universe where that happens,
waiting in
right?
line.
Yeah. They're in the Super Bowl. But it's really great that we've been able to share our own personal experiences. And to your point, Elsa, that's where we feel like people really connect with it.
In all of this time, you've had so many different episodes, so many different topics. Is there one topic or maybe a couple topics that really stood out to you or that you took something with you after you had that conversation?
Yeah, we've had a few. I think the one that still resonates even with our clients and listeners now is our money journey story. So one of the ways we started the podcast was to share our own money journeys, experiences we had in our youth with our families, what we learned, what we didn't learn, the mistakes we made. It was a level of vulnerability to open up and, talking about running up credit card debt and the challenges it caused and just being that exposed to strangers. So that one continues to resonate. I've had clients mention it like, oh, I felt like I learned so much more about you listening to it. So that one was very nice. And then we learn a ton from the guests we have on the podcast. So many of the episodes are just Ann and I blabbing about the things we talk about every day. But it's always nice to have a guest come share their expertise. We always learn so much, right, when there's another guest on the podcast.
Yeah. So to that point, when we had one of our clients, Kathleen, on, I think about that conversation a lot. So she had been a stay-at-home mom for many, many years. Her husband unexpectedly passed away, so she became a widow. And she decided to start a business after her husband passed away and after she had been out of the workforce for many, many years. And we asked her a lot about that decision. And I remember actually supporting her through the decision of starting the business, but I never really had a chance to ask her in-depth questions about her thought process as she was making that decision and what she was afraid of or what she was excited about. And just the level of courage and confidence that she shared with us was so inspiring to me because there should have been so much uncertainty and perhaps a lack of confidence in making that decision. And she was just so confident. Like there is no room for failure here. Failure is not an option. And she wanted to be an inspiration to her kids. And so I think about that conversation a lot. And it just gave us the opportunity to get to know her even on a completely deeper level, which was really incredible.
See, you're inspiring me to go back into the archives.
Yes.
Listen to episodes 1 through 99.
Yes, dig through the crates.
Yeah, I think it's called like From Stay-at-Home Mom to CEO or something like that, the journey. But
Well, and that it makes me think of just what you have learned in terms of posing these topics to your clients. As you are thinking about the women who are listening, what have you learned that they actually need and want to hear?
Yeah. What we figured out is that many times women need permission in addition to the information. Right?
Explain.
Like Anne mentioned when she was introducing our episode, we work with high achievers, right? Women who are senior executives, CEOs at their businesses, at their firms, in their offices, and they're so confident in the things that they do every day. And money creates a discomfort sometimes. And so giving them the permission, not just through saying it, right? Like verbally extending the permission, which we've done on episodes, like here's how you can spend with joy, but also encouraging them to create a plan, to work with professionals who help them to feel confident, right? In order to step into those decisions and to make those choices.
So what I'm hearing, not to interrupt, was sometimes it's not even just the knowledge.
Right.
It is literally the confidence, the feeling that you're trying to make sure that women who are listening embody.
Yes. Because think about it. Think about when, and you may be different, but I know for many women.
Not.
For many women, we do so well with saving, I think, right? Women tend to be disciplined. We think about tomorrow, right? We always are planning for the rainy day. When is something going to go wrong?
Correct.
And so it can be challenging to flip the script on that mindset, right? To say, okay, well, now I can spend something that I've earned.
Atricia, you're in my head. You're in my head. It is definitely that. We can be very disciplined, right? We know to save, we know to invest, we know, but we will sometimes restrict because we feel like, oh, that this is frivolous.
We
don't need to.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone else does. My children do, whoever it is. And so you teach that we can live richly for ourselves as well.
Yeah, we try to help release that guilt, right? And like dig into where is that guilt coming from? Why is it present? Does it still need to be in your life? Is it adding value at all? Or is it really holding you back? And it's funny because most people probably think as financial advisors, we have tons of conversations with clients about not spending. Like, you need to save more. You need to stop spending money. And don't get me wrong, we have a few of those.
Some people need that talk.
We have a few of those. But funny enough, the majority of the time, we're like, you need to spend this money. You can spend this money. We will run projections and stress test the plan, for 1,000 trials, 1,000 different times. And this particular client will not run out of money. And so oftentimes we have to have those conversations like, what is it that you want to spend money on? What could bring you joy? What's in line with your values? Or what sort of philanthropy do you want to get involved in? And so it's funny because we end up having those conversations so much more than we do the you need to rein
You're
it in.
Psychologists and now
we're like 90% either marriage counselors or psychologists,
behavior
therapists, 10% advisors.
Sure.
Yes. And you do talk to women who are going through divorce, widowhood, sudden inheritance, career changes, all of these very big, huge transitions. So how has that work changed how you think about your own relationship with money? How about that? Switch it back on you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think the word guilt comes up a lot. One of the other episodes we did around Mother's Day is we talked a lot about what we learned from our own mothers, both the good and the bad when it comes to managing money. And I know both of us really have had to work on that sort of guilt associated with spending money on ourselves and being okay with it, right? Because we have all these other people that we care about, family members and loved ones, and we're fine spending money on them, but sometimes letting the reins go a little bit on ourselves feels uncomfortable. So just like we try to coach our clients to do that work, we're doing the same work alongside of them.
There was an episode that I was listening to on my way here where you were talking about when we were young and what was taught to us about money.
Yeah.
And that even if our parents had a lot of money, if they taught it to us that, this money is finite or it's not in surplus or you have to count your pennies and save, just the way that you view money in a restrictive way can sometimes carry on into adulthood. Or if you learn the opposite, where money is in surplus and you just didn't think about how to generate or invest it, that also can carry weight. So there were stories that you were telling that we have heard and have experienced even as children that carry us through into adulthood. So you are navigating that with your clients even now.
Oh, yeah. And part of that is just being aware that
Yes.
money story is going on in the back of your mind.
You don't know.
That no, a lot of times you don't. And so that's one of the things we try to do is dig in, right? Why are you feeling this way? Why are you making these choices? What is that story? And does it still serve you? That's the key question.
Yeah.
And if it still serves you, fantastic. Make room for it, add space for it in your life. But if it doesn't serve you, let's work on getting rid of it and moving forward in a different path.
Yeah. A lot of what we do as planners as well as podcasters is try to help reframe, right? We think we're very conscious about the wording we use, even with the way we work with our clients. Like we don't call them budgets, we call them spending plans. Right, because budget has a negative connotation with people.
Again,
it makes them feel restricted,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so a lot of what we do is try to reframe the conversation about money, give our listeners as well as our clients tools to help change that story in their brain, right, that they've learned for so many years. And so even those small nuances can help shift the way you think about money and the way you interact with your money.
So again, we're on episode 100. We knocked off a couple of those zeros and we are back to episode 1. Is there anything that you would tell yourselves as you were embarking on this journey of your podcast?
Yeah, I think I would say, don't be afraid that no one's ever gonna listen, right? When we started out, it was always this feeling of like, who's ever gonna wanna listen to us, right?
Why would you think that?
Who's ever gonna I mean, you just think about the numbers of podcasts you can subscribe to and all the big names, celebrities and actors and even philosophers who now have podcasts. Why would they want to hear us? And so I think a part of me would go back and say, be confident. Right? This is going to be something really, really great, right? And lean into it in a really big way from the beginning. And I think I would tell myself that then, like, think about this in a really big way, even from day one.
Yes.
Because I sometimes think back, like, had we approached it in a really big way from the beginning, we probably would have been sitting in a studio like this way before episode 100.
Yeah. Atricia's been dreaming about us being in a studio from day one.
From the beginning.
Yeah. I think looking back, I laugh because when we talked about launching a podcast, I was like, okay, I'm going to find us a course and we're going to do a course on podcasting and then we'll launch the podcast.
And loves a good book.
I love a good book. But sometimes I get myself in a situation where I look for all the information and then I, don't actually do the thing, which is not a good place to be. Thankfully, you got to take action, right? You got to execute. And thankfully, one of our advisors with whom we were working on this strategy said, don't take a podcasting course. You just got to start doing it. And I was like, that sounds terrifying. So I think if I could go back to episode 1, knowing how incredibly terrified I was that we didn't know what we were doing, I would say it's okay. It's going to be great. And you're going to live and learn, right? And it's okay to make mistakes. And I sometimes when I go back to some of the earlier episodes, I'm like, oh God. Why did I say that? Or why did I do that? And that's okay, though. It's part of the journey. It's part of the experience. And I'm so glad that we took the leap and started it. I can't imagine if we would have waited. Yeah. If it were up to me, we probably would have waited a year. Yeah. We need to do a solid, deep dive course for a year and learn all the things, and then we can start. Yeah. So just that anytime you're about to launch into a new endeavor and it's scary and it's uncertain, it's okay. And you're going to, you'll tweak and you'll learn as you go. There's no such thing as failure. It's just a learning lesson.
Yeah. And Ann and I have really good chemistry in real life. Right?
I can tell. We really love each other, for real.
And that's what I tell people. We genuinely get along. It's not for show. And so I think it made it easier in the beginning because I felt like I was just having a conversation with my partner, with my friend. Right?
And that's how it should feel.
Yeah. And I think that resonates or has resonated
100%
with our listeners, and that our interactions are genuine. We're not faking it.
No, we talk like this when we're just around each other.
I know, I've witnessed.
So, exactly. Yeah. When we go away to conferences together and we get one-on-one time, because we're in different offices. I think most people who, have been watching the podcast for a while or listening know this, but Teresa's in Rockville, Maryland. I'm in Reston, Virginia. So we actually don't get to see each other in real life all that often. And so we're literally like, oh my God, we're at a conference together. Yeah. We get all this one-on-one time. And people will joke with us like, oh, there you guys are. Do you guys ever are you ever not together? And we're like, no, why would we not be together?
Yeah, there you go.
We love spending time together. So I've gotten that feedback too. Like people are like, oh my God, you guys are hilarious together and you're so comfortable. And it just looks like two girlfriends who happen to be finance nerds or having a conversation.
Well, I think that emanates also from your actual business.
Yes.
And I think your listeners and your clients pick up on that. They actually gave us some questions. So are you ready?
Ooh. Yeah.
These aren't just my questions now. Okay, let's see what they said.
Let's do it.
First question. We're at 100 episodes. What do the next 100 look like? And where do you want to take this conversation?
Yeah.
No pressure.
I think when we started, we definitely did more episodes where it was just the two of us talking about financial topics and educating. But we both really enjoy when we get to have guests on, and we do, as we've already mentioned, learn a lot. So I think I'm really excited about some of the guests that we are planning to have on and some of those conversations, because I think we can get a lot out of those as well as our listeners and viewers. So I'm excited about some of the guests we have planned.
Yeah. And I'm really excited about expanding the audience of the conversation. Anne knows that I have a goal of 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Maybe that'll move the needle with your boys.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe then they'll be impressed.
They might be.
And for me, it's not just so much that, 1 million feels good, but I think we do a really good podcast, right?
Yes.
I think we give really good conversation. I listen to so many finance podcasts where I'm like, wait, what are you talking about?
Yes.
Right.
And boring.
Yes. And so I feel like we give really sound guidance. We're experienced at what we do. We're trained at what we do. We're licensed at what we do. No shade to other
No shade to the to the TikTok.
They read a book.
And
or maybe not even.
Right.
Maybe not even.
Yeah. And so I just think the opportunity to expand that to a wide-reaching audience is right there over the horizon.
Yes.
I'm very excited about it.
And you mentioned kids too. I think about this podcast and listening to it in the car with my daughter, who is 12 years old and getting a lot of this information just by osmosis, right? It's just playing in the. Do you think about the effect that this will have, not just for women who are navigating their whatever life transitions they are right now and in our 40s and beyond, but for young women when they're in their tweens and their teenagers?
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I do the same thing. I'll have a book that I'm listening to, on Audible in the car. And sometimes even if my kids are, doing something else, distracted. Yeah, exactly. What are you listening to? Exactly. But then they'll say something later. They'll bring something up that they heard that I didn't even think they were really paying attention to. And I'm like, even if just a little bit of that trickles through, that's amazing, right? Because these are things that I was never exposed to as a kid. So our goal is really that we break the generational challenge, I would say, that both of us experienced in different ways with our families, but that if we can just change one person's life or one person's view or one person's comfort with talking about money with the next generation, I think we're winning. And that can have such ripple effects, as you said, Elsa, for generations to come. Yeah. So it's quite powerful for the next generation.
Okay, so if you could have one guest within the next 100 episodes that you have, who would it be and why?
Yeah, so Anne and I have talked about this because we're manifesting her
I
into
love
our
it.
lives.
Okay.
But it would be Sheila Johnson.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, so Sheila is a titan in media, in restaurants, in hotels, business in general.
Yes.
And she's right in our backyard. And so we feel like she's right there at our fingertips.
Within reach.
Miss Johnson, if you're listening.
Or if anybody knows her,
please connect her with us. We would love to have you on the pod.
I think that would be an excellent podcast. Yes. I would love to hear that podcast. Yeah, all right.
So would we.
More
how much time do you have? Do you have 12 hours for us? Because we have so many questions.
More listener questions. All right. This is an interesting one. If this were not your job, what would you be doing? How about that?
So I think I would probably be some sort of, I originally said a health and wellness sort of coach, but then I actually think it'd be more like a life coach. And we talk about this all the time as financial advisors. I think it's important to not just focus on having a healthy financial life or just focus on being physically healthy or just focus on being spiritually healthy. But you really, in my view anyway, and my goal is to be healthy in a well-rounded way. So I think that's more of a life coach, maybe with a focus on health and wellness and finance, of course. Yeah. But that is 100% what I would do. And I think it's actually something that I try to do like with my friends and family members.
For sure.
I give a lot of unsolicited advice.
For sure. I'm sure they appreciate it.
Atricia's like, yes, she does.
All the time. She's like, your self-talk is so negative
I'm
today.
like, can we try that again? Let's just rewind, pretend like you didn't say that. Could we say that in a different way, please?
Yeah, well, you're already my life coach. So
well, I have a client already.
Client number one.
Amazing.
Associate for you.
And for you?
So this is weird because it's really not anything to do with the business I'm doing now.
That's okay.
But I would probably go back to school and get a PhD in like anthropology. I love culture and the study of humanity and culture and why we eat the things we eat and speak the way we speak. And then I would probably be like a university professor and just teach and listen to myself talk.
But you know what? Both of these careers, actually, I'm not surprised because they deal with people and helping people. And that is literally what you do in a different capacity every single day.
Yeah, we always call Atricia a citizen of the world.
Yes.
She really is, if there was a global passport.
Yes. I'm like studying 3 different languages right now.
Wait, what's your streak on Duolingo?
I'm at 1,143 days.
I mean, amazing.
That is incredible. Okay, what languages are you?
Spanish. Yes. Well, Spanish was my minor in college, so I already have some Spanish, but working on that, I actually just hired a tutor.
Oh my gosh.
Didn't tell you that part yet.
Very
it just
good.
happened, new development.
Wow. Breaking news. You heard it here first.
And then French.
Yes.
And then a little Portuguese, only because I love Brazil and South America.
Well, I want to also move to Portugal, so I'll talk to you guys and we can start to plan that. I took 3 languages in high school, but don't be impressed because I forgot them all.
Well, that's the problem. Yes. That's why you have to do Duolingo for
4 years
1,400
Spanish,
days.
3 years French, 2 years German. And then I got to college. It was the only class that had to meet every single day, a language class.
Oh, yeah.
I said, I'll do it next semester, and I didn't do it. So again, don't put things off. That was sort of a theme that we had here today, too.
Yes, even if it's just a little micro step every day.
Yeah, I'm going to get some meta glasses and call it a day now and just start traveling that way. I'll be a little lazy. How do you think that people have an unhealthy relationship with money? How do you think it manifests or displays itself?
I think an easy way or a red flag that would perhaps be good to consider or be aware of is if you end up making some sort of money decision that may feel a little unconscious, like it was an unconscious decision, and then after the fact you question why you did it, you feel some sort of negative emotion tied to it, and or it was completely against what you had planned to do. So for example, let's just say that you find yourself doom scrolling late at night and being targeted by Instagram, for example, with some ads, and they know us.
That's never happened.
It's never happened to me either. I'm just speaking hypothetically. And let's just say one of your goals is like, okay, this is not a healthy behavior. I keep on ordering all this crap off Instagram that I don't really need. I don't really want it. It's not really adding value to my life. And so let's just say that you create a goal and a commitment to yourself that you're going to stop doing that because that's in line with what you want for your money life. And then you find yourself doing it. And the next day you feel terrible because you had set a commitment to yourself. So that I think is, us, our intuition, our internal voice speaking and letting us know that there's something going wrong here. So that's where I would kind of sit down and reflect on, okay, why was it important in the first place to set that goal? What was the environment when I made the decision to do something that I didn't really want to do? And then what am I going to do to set myself up for future success? So maybe I decide I'm just not going to doom scroll at all anymore at night, for example. So I think there are ways that our bodies almost tell us
I was going to say
when something is in
hardwired.
misalignment.
Yes, we're hardwired to do the thing that we maybe shouldn't be doing. And so if we are cognizant of that we can break it.
Right. Yeah. It almost feels like sometimes people will step in and make a money decision for us. And we're like, wait, what happened there? Like who made that decision? Because it wasn't my highest self. Right.
Yes. That's actually a very good tell. What is something about women and money that the financial industry gets wrong?
Yeah. I think the idea that we have to feminize I might be making that word up.
Feminize?
No. Feminize is a word.
Feminize things so that they're catered to women. So I have this thing, I just have this like natural rejection of like them making things pink or adding flowers because it's supposed to attract women. Like everything's got to be feminine. And women are so diverse in the things we like, enjoy, the things that motivate us and drive us. And I think just speaking to women like you would any other person, right, in the industry. Things don't have to be dialed down. It doesn't have to be branded as pink or with flowers, right, for women to be drawn to it or be interested in it or to understand it. And I think so many times, especially when we're in a room with a lot of male advisors, right, the conversation is about trying to teach them how to dial the language down for women or how to make sure they're making eye contact with the woman at the table. And I'm like, are we still coaching and training people on this as if women are not active participants in their financial lives? Yes. And so I think that's something that is just outdated in the way we think about the approach and dealing with women in general in this industry.
Yeah. I also think the industry still thinks that women are not good investors.
Yeah.
And there is actually a lot of research suggesting the opposite, that women are actually even better as a whole at investing than men are. So I think our industry still has a bias towards, men being better investors when in fact, as a whole, women actually have outperformed men in investment returns.
Well, that is why Living Richly is so important, this 100th episode. And as we wrap, is there one word or phrase that you can say really speaks to how this podcast has changed you?
Humbled. Yeah, because to Atricia's point earlier, I just never thought that we would have such an impact and that people would want to listen and get such value out of the podcast. So I'm humbled that we have the opportunity, that we can share our voice and hopefully inspire people. And I'm really excited to continue to do that.
Yeah, I love that. I think my word would be vulnerable. And especially around money and money conversations. When you start in this industry like Ann and I did at wirehouses, you're so much separating emotion and the way you feel from the way you talk about money and investments. And I think the reaction to our podcast and taking a more empathetic take on the conversations has just proven that being vulnerable, open, even inserting who you are sometimes personally in financial conversations can really move the needle with listeners and with clients. And I think that has changed the way I think about money conversations a lot.
Well, I am so grateful to be here for your 100th episode. If people want to continue this conversation or reach out to you, that's as simple as watching more on YouTube and also reaching out on the website as well, correct?
Yes, and we would love to hear more from listeners. So you can always send your questions in to podcast@curoprivatewealth.com. We actually read the inbox. We want to respond to your questions. We want to make sure that we're crafting content that people actually need and want to hear.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks again for doing this with us.
Of course.
Thanks again for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to subscribe and share it with someone who might benefit from it. Friendly reminder that this is for informational purposes only. For additional information, please visit us at www.curoprivatewealth.com. Until next time, live richly.